Welcome. In this video, I want to share with you some of my own personal practices around how to keep the momentum and the motivation and how to keep yourself taking inspired action towards a goal or a vision that you are wanting to create for yourself. And the process that I use often is the sensed feeling, that full body feeling, that embodied approach of connecting yourself to your vision or your goal. And so what that looks like for me is, there's a lot of times where I'm an inherently motivated person, particularly when I'm taking inspired action, where something is calling me, where I have a vision, I want to achieve that goal, and so it's almost like it's then ingrained in me, it's part of me, and I will just keep myself moving towards that. And I feel that's a really important piece, is that you choose something to work towards that feels just so much part of you that it is just you, so you want to keep stepping in that direction towards it. And so part of that for me also is, if there is a time where I'm feeling a little bit more less enthusiastic to take action, for me personally, that's more of an indication that my body actually needs some rest, because I am more of that continuous inspired action person. I am a doer. So often for me, when I lose motivation, it's not actually I'm losing motivation. It's actually a very good signal to me that I need to rest and recover and reset. But for other people who perhaps don't have that that in their DNA, they often ask, how do I stay connected and to motivated, and how do I keep stepping in the direction that I want to? And for me, there's a few practices, but I want to share the practice of visualization, almost in your mind's eye visualization. That can definitely work. And also alongside of that is that full body sensing and that full body knowing. And this is actually a really good practice for when you don't know what is the next step to take. You're sort of like, oh, here's the goal, but I don't know how am I going to get there. And so the practice for me really is closing down the eyes, or even during, say if I've got a running goal, and even during the run, I actually just visualize myself in the race, or towards the finish line, or at the starting line. Here we go, we're going to ready, set, go. And, I'm really fully imagining that I am in the scene. And so when you're looking for, that hit of motivation, that hit of inspiration, it may just be simply closing down the eyes and feeling into the body and sensing, okay, I can see myself where I would like to be. And how does that feel in my body? And what does that taste like and smell like and feel like? But it's more of that embodied experience, and actually building the energy from this internal sensing that then gets you to take that next step of inspired action. When you're in this space, another important piece is that particularly if you're just doing a standalone visualization practice through a meditation, or you're laying down, connecting to your body, connecting to your breath, and visualizing yourself achieving a goal or something like that. An important piece for me is to know that there will be some more negative thoughts, or unoptimistic thoughts, or thoughts that will create, but you can't do this yet, or a but, or a barrier, or something that's sort of like the mind wants to go, oh, you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle worked out yet, so how can you see yourself actually achieving that, or you can't do that yet. And kind of knowing that they will come, but to either flip them reframe them, choose a more optimistic approach or thought, or just to know that they will come and let them go as well. So don't grip onto them and start to figure it out and work it out. Just go, there you are again. There's another thought passing by, but now I'm going to step back into the body and into the feeling. And then the other piece for me when I'm doing this visualization and looking forward to creating a goal or a vision and working your way towards it, is also a very important piece is to know that even though we're creating a vision or a goal to work towards and we're wanting to improve or evolve or increase our skills or whatever it might be, that it doesn't make you wrong where you are now, today. So that's where I feel like we can tend to stifle our motivation and our momentum, is when we get stuck between the space of where we are and where we would like to be in the future. So part of that is being flexible and fluid. So knowing that, okay, this is where I would like to be at some point in time, but knowing that all I can be in control of right now is the next step. And so when I take that next step, remaining fluid and flexible as to what is the next step after that. And going back to what I was talking about before, when we're kind of unsure as to what is the next best step. So for example, in my training, if I was going to say, in 2021, for example, I want to be at the World Championships for triathlon, which means that in 2020, I'm going to have to start actually competing in some triathlons. But right now, where I am sitting in this living room today, 2019, just building up my strength and my endurance and working it out. It's just taking that day by day and figuring out what is the next step, but through the embodied experience. So it's not like I have it all mapped out and I know all the next steps, because I actually don't know what I'm going to come up against all that way in the future. So if I really grip on strongly and be like, oh, this is all the steps that are going to be in place and this is what it's going to look like, that's when we lose that fluidity, we lose that flexibility. We might come up against injury or illness, or we might, who knows what happens, and it might not necessarily be something, that goes wrong with our body. Maybe there's change of priority at some point in time. Life happens. And so keeping with that flexible and fluid approach, but still being able to sense and feel, this is what it would feel like in my body to be achieving that and living that goal, then I can just go, okay, but I'm going to act on what I can do today. And then from today, I do that and I reflect upon that. I don't go and say, I reflect upon it in a way that, is an opportunity for learning and an opportunity for improvement, but it's not an opportunity to keep bagging myself out by the fact that I'm actually not to my goal yet. We don't set ourselves up for running a 40K marathon. If I'm here at the 5K point and that's where I'm consistently at, if I keep thinking about the distance that I'm still haven't run yet, rather than, okay, I'm at the 5K mark and then I'm going to build on that. And from the 6K, then I'm going to build on to 7, to 10, to 12, to 15, all incremental steps. So get that full-bodied experience, get that energy running through your body, and then take the next step from there.